This brown seaweed washes up on New Zealand's coasts, and there are great things you can do with it. In the small town of Paeroa, in New Zealand's Waikato region, we visit a family business that is turning seaweed into products that are good for soil, plant and animal health. AgriSea. We meet company director Clare Bradley, who explains how AgriSea got started.
Yeah, so AgriSea really was born from my mother-in-law. Her and her husband Keith started the business in 1996. They went and visited a farm around New Zealand. They were looking at organic farming, and they found one farm in particular that was really healthy. It had no disease, and seaweed was their main input. And from there they discovered seaweed, and it's one of those things that once you learn something you can't unknow it.
We asked Clare, which problem in agriculture does seaweed solve?
Farmers generally put on, especially in New Zealand, quite high amounts of artificial fertilizers. We're becoming acutely aware of the negative effects of excess nitrogen in our waterways, excess phosphorus. It's not only bad for the environment, but it's bad economically for the farmer as well. We do have a lot of regulations coming down, which mean that farmers are going to have to start coming up with new ways to farm sustainably. So AgriSea really helps them on that journey, because we're able to reduce synthetic fertilizer use by 25% in year one. And how AgriSea products allow farmers to do that is by restoring the relationships with the soil microbes and plant roots. So often when plants are used to being fed fertilizers, they've stopped their relationships or communication with the soil microbes. And by stimulating that relationship again, you're able to get plants that can access their own nitrogen and own phosphorus from the bank of stuff that's already in the soil.
Clare then explains how seaweed is transformed into products that farmers can use.
When seaweed arrives, it is dried. We chop it up and we add a kind of secret herbs and spices recipe that is a long standing family secret, and it goes through a fermentation process. We use 0 chemicals. We have a complete circular system, 0 waste.
Clare takes us to the factory to show us the fermentation process.
So the soil nutrition is the composted product, and that is incredible for feeding soil microbes. So even research under kiwi fruit vines, we've found a 300% increase in soil microbial activity, earthworms, microbial diversity. It is just a superfood for soil bugs, and it is a very labour intensive job. Basically we have, in this time of the year, we start to get the sulphur release. So basically what happens is we fill up these giant tea bags of seaweed, some herbal leaves and some plant leaves, very specific recipe, and this is aerated each day. So it started filled up with water here, and as the matter in the bag breaks down, it's like when you make a soup stock, you know, you no longer have water and you no longer have vegetables, they kind of become one. So that's kind of what's happening. Every single day the guys will aerate the bag 3 times, so they just literally with a wooden paddle lift it up, let it drain, aerate that, and every single one of these barrels is done.
Farmers can spray the seaweed extracts on the soil and use it in vineyards and fruit orchards. Seaweed can even be used to make animal feed.
We can affect the animal immediately through our animal nutrition, and this has huge benefits for the animal in terms of their health status and their well-being. It's not something we've probably considered too in depth as animal well-being, but it's really starting to become important for consumers to know that they are eating or drinking products that are made with the whole spectrum of well-being considered. That's our soil health, our plant health, our animal health, and our ecosystem health.
And how do they get the seaweed? We asked Claire.
We have a beautiful long coastline in New Zealand, and seaweed washes up on our beaches after storms. And we work with really remote coastal New Zealand communities, and they are trained specifically for AgriSea on how to collect this really beautiful seaweed after it washes up. However we access seaweed, it's in a way that's not degrading to the marine environment. It's been a real privilege working with our remote coastal communities. We've been able to provide employment into these really remote areas where there is no other industry. And it really empowers these communities to be running their own businesses and out there working with a beautiful product. So they collect the seaweed, they dry it to our specifications, and then they send it to us here in Paeroa.
Claire sums up what the benefits of seaweed are for the farmer and the environment.
So the good thing is that there are both immediate benefits and then compounding benefits year on year. So immediately farmers can reduce their fertilizer use by 25%, and the price of an AgriSea product just fills that gap in that first year. The next year is another 25% reduction in fertilizer. The third year, another 25% reduction in fertilizer. So you've got an immediate fertilizer saving cost. Beyond that, you've also got huge drops in animal health issues. So your vet bills reduce. And beyond that, you also get resilience built into your system. So we're getting long, dry summers. And when you've got a really healthy soil that's got a better water holding capacity, better nutrient availability, you're able to grow more feed over the dry to feed your animals. So I think while there's benefits that are immediate financially and for your farm system, it just gets better year on year on year.
That sounds very promising. Yet we wonder, does AgriSea help sustain an industry that is inherently unsustainable?
There is a spectrum of farmers and growers on this planet. There's very small scale, there's biodynamic, organic farmers who are low impact, low input, and there's very high impact, high input industrialized farmers here. We see our role in bringing these guys down, educating them into other ways of farming. It might start with a product, with a small impact, but by getting that relationship, we believe we've got the ability to walk them on this journey and help them really make sustainable change.
On our trip around the world, we have visited farms that worked without any synthetic fertilizers or agri-poisons. We wonder, can seaweed products help farmers eliminate unsustainable practices altogether?
There is a possibility for farmers and growers not to use any fertilizers, agrochemicals, pesticides, herbicides, absolutely. And I think AgriSea products can help them get there. But there is no such thing as a silver bullet, and it does often require farmers or growers to make some management changes as well. It might be companion planting or plant diversity, some other tools in their toolkit to help them be truly low impact. But that's up to each individual farmer on their journey and where they want to take.
We agree with Clare that making food production sustainable is a journey. Using seaweed in agriculture is certainly an important step every farmer can take to produce food more sustainably. Did you like this video?
And want to see more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on social media, become our patron on Patreon, or subscribe to our email newsletter on our website.